you could show me... You have a cow?
Of course I have a cow.
Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons came out recently, and I've gotta say, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like this is a DC animated movie that we needed, especially this year. This year is kind of mediocre. I really liked League of the Super Pets, but Battle of the Super Sons was another great one. I think it's a win for DC. I really enjoyed the movie. The first 20 minutes or so is a pure Superman, Superboy, Jonathan Kent movie. I just gotta shout out the opening credits real quick. I really enjoyed how they did the opening credits of this movie. They showed the entire Superman story and him having his son, Jonathan, in the opening credits. I thought that was a magnificent way to keep the credits interesting and to tell you some of the story that isn't really an important part of the movie, but just so you know what happened, even though pretty much everyone knows the story of Superman at this point, besides the people that didn't know he ended up having a child. The first 20 minutes of this movie really explores Jonathan's connection with his parents, him not knowing that Clark is Superman until later on, and him beginning to discover his superpowers since he is half Kryptonian. There's some stuff with him playing baseball, which isn't all that important, but they do have some parallel shots and such to it at the end of the movie, which I just always like it when a movie does that. I think it's cool to call back to the beginning of the film at the end of it. I just think it's a cool thing to do. But at around the 20-minute mark, we finally get to meet Batman and Robin, Damien Wayne, and Batman's introduction scene is great. I absolutely love it. He's taking on the Penguin. Thank you for throwing a Batman villain into this movie. You absolutely did not have to. I love the comments made on Gotham, the smell, how it looks. Jonathan asks, why isn't anyone doing anything? And Clark's response of, someone is, and then we cut to Batman just beating up Penguin's goons, beating the crap out of the Penguin, doing what Batman does best, laying hands.
Why doesn't somebody do something about this?
Somebody is.
We don't actually meet Damien until the scene later where Bruce takes them to the Batcave, but this is where I want to bring up the animation. I can see the animation maybe throwing some people off because it is so different from anything these other DC animated movies have looked like, but I really enjoy it, especially Batman. I think Batman looks like the best designed character here. I think the animation fits him super well, his color tone, everything. Batman just looks great to me. I don't think Superman looks quite as well. Superman was fine though. The only thing that ever threw me off about the animation in this movie was the hair, which might be a weird thing to say, but it just looked like it had little shades of blue here and there in certain characters, and it kind of took me out of it for a second. I was like, okay, it's computer generated, it's fine. I like the way they move. I love the backgrounds. I think the backgrounds look great. They look very clean. And just because of how good the background elements and just the environment around these characters looked, I got totally immersed into this movie. I was invested in what was going on. It's a very family-friendly movie. It's about family. It's about friendship. It's about the involvement of that, how people can change. I enjoy what this movie did. I enjoy how it looks for the most part. I enjoy the character dynamics. It's a very strong movie, I think.
That's okay, I got it. What's that?
My dad's insurance policy.
The only thing I can really say wrong with the movie is that the stakes were extremely high. It never felt like the world was on the line in this movie, even though it was. Starro didn't end up having much of a character, which is also a slight disappointment. I think it's just cool seeing Starro finally in one of these DC animated movies, though. If you had asked me, do you think you'll see Starro in a live action movie or an animated film as the main villain first, I would have told you animated film, but as the Suicide Squad showed us last year, I would have been entirely wrong. I am surprised we got that character in a live action movie before we got him in an animated movie here. I really enjoyed Lois in this movie. I think Batman and Superman's dynamic is absolutely terrific. The moments you see it before they get taken over by Starro and the moments you see it after they are saved from Starro, no, under his brainwashing. That dynamic, they just hit that dynamic perfectly, and it's not very often that you you get to see actually in these movies Batman and Superman being friends. It's a really great thing to see, and I want an entire movie of just that. I need to go rewatch Public Enemies because I know a lot of people love that movie. I remember not loving it so much. I've only seen it about twice though. It's been a couple years, but I remember that being a movie where Batman and Superman are just friends the entire time. They're partners. They aren't fighting over anything. It's just a refreshing thing to see.
Of course, Batman. Watchtower out.
Something's off.
The Justice League and Teen Titans characters used in the movie, for the most part, are just background characters under the control of Starro. You never really get to see any of them as their own character besides Green Arrow in the moment you get to see with Superman interacting him with the Watchtower, which sets this entire movie up. Not trying to get too deep into spoilers here though. A character this movie does feature though, and click away, fast forward about 20 seconds if you don't want to be spoiled for anything awesome in this movie. Crypto the super dog. Crypto the freaking super dog was in this movie. That was amazing. I love that moment so much. Once he appeared on screen, I wanted to get up and clap. Also, I swear, the guy working for Lex when Lois sets up the meeting with him is a nod, or it is Cash Tankinson himself from the Batman 2004. Don't at me. Go look at that man and then go watch JTV, the episode JTV, and tell me that is not Cash Tankinson. That haircut is no one else's. Speaking of haircuts, Damien has some high-standing hair in this movie, but I want to talk about Damien for a minute because I think he is the MVP of this movie. This is my favorite Damien Wayne by far. This movie made me kind of love Damien, which I never expected to say. I didn't hate him. The DC animated movie universe films, they got me to the point where I wasn't hating Damien. I never really fell in love with that version of Damien, though. I liked him a lot in Justice League Dark Apollo's War. That was probably the only movie where I straight up just liked Damon for pretty much all of it. There wasn't a moment where I hated him. This movie, I hate him at first, but he evolves so quickly into a character I love. I would want that kid as a friend. I'd want him to back my play. That is a dude you want on your side, okay? And I like how Batman and Superman talk about him, especially Superman, basically telling Batman, don't give up on the kid, he's been through a lot. And Batman's like, yeah, I hope he can be good, or I hope he wants to be good. And this movie shows you that. It shows you that Damien, yes, he does want to be good. Also, I just think this is a Damien that feels like Batman's son. It feels like he's Bruce's son.
I toiled for years.
Yeah, I get it. Your grandfather likes to monologue almost as much as mine.
He doesn't ever do anything so dumb or so incompetent that it makes me eye roll and not believe that this kid is the son of Batman, because that's another problem I had with some of the DC animated movie universe stuff when it came to Damien is I can't buy that this kid is Batman's son in this moment. This movie never had that problem for me. It's my favorite Damien. I don't know what more to say. I hope this movie gets a sequel or something. I don't think it will. I don't think a sequel's part of the plan, but I would love to see one because I want to see more of these versions of these characters. And you can tell me that in this movie the writing is simple, but don't try to tell me that the writing is bad, because the writing in this movie was phenomenal. The stories flowed very well. There was never one moment that they spent too much time on. They knew when to go forward with the story, which I feel like for a lot of the DC animated movies I don't like. If there's not a terrible decision made that just throws me off the entire film, it's that they spend too much time on some things and it just gets boring to me. This movie never felt boring. I was thoroughly invested. I really enjoyed the animation. I liked that it was something different, and I thought the backgrounds looked absolutely beautiful.
You do something! You have heat vision, just kill her already!
I'm not gonna kill my mom!
I don't think this movie is up there with films like Under the Red Hood or The Flashpoint Paradox, anything like that, but I do think it's a really good, strong DC animated film. I would recommend anyone go see it. It's one I already feel like I need to rewatch, which, spoilers, I did not feel that way with Beware My Power. This is probably my favorite Damien. Batman and Superman's worlds are just awesome. As a letter grade, I'd give it a B+. On rewatch, it could go up to an A-. It could also go down. Who knows? I don't know. I'm iffy when I rewatch movies. A lot of these DC animated ones, though, I enjoy more upon rewatch, so I don't see that changing. There was nothing I hated about the film at all. I dug it. I think it's a win. Maybe even the best of the year. One of the best of this decade so far. So if you've seen Battle of the Super Sons, let me know what you thought about the movie down in the comments below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it? I don't know why anyone would hate this movie, honestly, unless the animation just throws you off that much. I don't see what people could find to hate about it other than maybe it's basic. But basic works. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.
Open your mouth.
What?
Jimmy, open your mouth.